Captain Dorn murdered in cold blood.
Murdered in cold blood while people videotaped it live on Facebook Live. If you cannot imagine something more callous than that, I can't think of it.
And didn't come to his rescue.
Did not come to his rescue. Think about this world we live in. We've had videotapes now of 2 horrendous killings, both of them opposite in terms of how they got there. But what does it say about our culture today that people sat by and stood there and videotaped it? I mean, it's almost as if we've become detached from reality.
The roots of this go back to the French Revolution. And it goes all the way through with the revolution of the Nazis, the revolution of the Soviets, the revolution of the Khmer Rouge, and really, I think, perfected in the Cultural Revolution of Mao Zedong. Right? They took all the lessons of mind control and principally, remember, once again, the centerpiece of what they try to do is take God out of the center, take any spiritual, regardless of how you worship God, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Tibetan Buddhist, whether you're a Falun Gong, a part of the spiritual movement, a house Christian, what they want to do, just like the French Revolution wanted to do, take out the church. They must make sure that you worship the state, okay? You talk about anti-fascists. I mean, come on, these guys are the biggest fascists. You must worship the state, and the head of the state, in that regard, Mao Zedong, right? You must worship Mao Zedong as a god. A corollary of that is they have to destroy the traditional family. They had to do it in France, which was very family-oriented back when the French Revolution hit. Remember, the people in France, we would not be free from the British Empire. The people of France had not stepped up and essentially helped finance the American Revolution, right? Our 3 top guys spent the entire time in France trying to get a deal. The French Navy, some units of the French Army, Lafayette, but most importantly, French cash. That's what essentially financed us. That's the people of France. In fact, the reason they even came together, started the French Revolution, they had to figure out how to pay for it. The state has essentially bankrupted themselves. Besides the luxurious living, the tipping point was hit because of support of the fight in the French and Indian Wars, and then particularly in the American Revolution. And so that was, but their thing was to destroy the church, get the church out of the center of lives, and destroy the family. Remember, they're always trying to destroy the nuclear family. They understand that in all civilizations, the family is the basic unit, right? And what they need to do, and Mao need to do it. China, probably even more than the West, the family is everything, right? The family, your ancestor worship, all that. Mao had to destroy that. He tried in the Great Leap Forward to collectivize and to have a collectivization to turn China from a really an agricultural economy to an industrial economy. Abject failure. Abject failure. They had a famine that killed 40 or 50 or 60 million people. We still don't know today. A famine that literally starved to death because of the collectivization movement. Mao wasn't, he had all kind of political pressure because of this failure. He doubled down again to break the family even more intensely with the Cultural Revolution. And that was to have husband and wife rat each other out, to have children rat each other out. And the thing, if you talk about the kneeling and everything like that, one of the key things they had were the struggle sessions, where they would bring in the bourgeoisie. They were remember a couple of weeks ago, they bring in the judges, they would bring it in front of their kids. They would be forced to kneel in front of the whole population with their children. They'd be beaten, right? And they had to confess to all their sins, which is basically to stand up for the existing order, right? And they were wrong, beaten. Remember, I had the story about the judge. The wife committed suicide. The suicide rates were so high, and that's what they wanted. They wanted people to kill themselves.
In fact, Mao apparently talked to this during the Cultural Revolution when he says, listen, we don't want the people to see us killing them. But if they commit suicide, hey, that's a bonus.
Devils. The CCP is purely satanic. They are a group of criminals, satanic criminals. That is the Chinese Communist Party. That what they have wrought on the Chinese people is unacceptable. In the way that Wall Street finances it, and corporate America finances it, and guess what they finance it with? Your money. I want you to embrace one thing, and you must embrace this. All of this is happening with your money, and that means to me you condone it. Until we stand up and say no more. We're not having our pension funds, we're not going to have our savings account, we're not going to have our insurance policies perpetuate what's going on in China, because that's what we're doing now. Because wages are cheaper and margins are higher, because the Chinese people are still slaves. Okay? That's what's not acceptable. in the United States, your tax dollar. Do you think the Chaz, do you think these autonomous zones in Seattle are going to be able to pay for themselves? Do you think when the tax base of these cities, which is the sales tax, collapses, you know where they're going to be coming to? They're going to be coming to you. They're going to be coming to you to increase your taxes to pay for this.